Hello, welcome to your pre-class video on the fundamentals of marketing plans. Today we're going to take a quick look at key components of marketing plans to make sure that we're ready for class tomorrow, where we will actually look at local businesses and figure out ways to write part of their marketing plan so we get some good hands-on experience with what we're doing. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the content. So, as we get to this outline here, really what you need to know is that we're looking at just key fundamentals here. Every marketing plan for every company is going to be different. It's going to have plenty of nuances to it based on their business, based on their market. But what we're going to look at are just some of the key principles that if you're writing a marketing plan for whether it's a class project, whether it is an internship, or if you're a marketing director or a media sales rep, you need to know these basic steps. So we're going to look at setting goals, making sure that we know our market and our audience, that we know who our competition is. We're going to look at how do we actually create a good promotional strategy. And then lastly, we have to make sure we know how to measure our results. So let's move on right now to setting goals. So in my decade plus of working with clients on marketing, whether it's from agency side, media side, one of the most common steps I see missed is remembering to set a goal for what our marketing is. There's nothing worse than if you're selling media and you have a client that says, well, I just don't think this worked for me. And we don't have any way to say, well, what was it trying to do? We're too late at that point. So it's really important that as you're looking at writing a marketing plan, you understand we have to have goals. We have to have a purpose for doing marketing. And that can be a wide range of things when it comes to different businesses. Typically, we're going to see that people are marketing because they need to sell something. They have to make money, and that's where we look at, will companies' marketing have a return on their investment? But just because that's the most common doesn't mean it's the only one. So other options, other things people might be looking for out of their marketing is, can it drive some public awareness to an issue? We'll see nonprofits do this, political entities do this. That's a very common one. Sometimes it's just as simple as brand awareness. Is there a new client in the market? Somebody's just trying to get their name out there. Are they launching a new product that might be out of season, but they know it's a longer sales cycle, so they need to start ramping up now? And another one, too, is to look at building a database. We're finding this to become much more common now as people are trying to get Facebook likes or emails for follow-up marketing, names and addresses for direct mail. So those are all possibilities when it comes to creating goals for your marketing plan, but we have to have that. We have to know what people's goals are, because at the end of it, we have to have something to compare it against. After we've set our goals, we have to make sure that we are armed with all of the right info to write this plan. And so we have to take a very close look at either our target market or make sure that we know our target audience. In some cases, both. So, when we're looking at maybe companies that have larger distribution, we can focus in first on the market. If I'm maybe an online retailer or say, a Nike, where we have to know different products are going to work in different markets. So again, think of your 4 P's here. This is place. This is making sure that we're putting the right products in the right place for people to purchase. This is different than comparing it to a local company, because local companies have already established a need in the market. It's why we don't see a lot of year-round Minnesota Viking jersey stores around Green Bay. There's just not a call for that in the marketplace. So, companies have gone through step one, making sure that the market works. That's part of their business plan. So when we're looking to get to marketing here, local companies really focus on who is their demo. They have to figure out who is it that is likely to or willing to buy their product. Beyond identifying who our target audience is, we've also got to know who we're fighting against. Got to know who the competition is when you are writing your marketing plan. Because one of the biggest points that we'll put together when it gets to promotional strategy is answering the question, what's in it for me? And we have to make sure that we are clearly describing differentiators between our product and the competition's when we're promoting, so that people know why they should be choosing our product over the others. We should also be cognizant of price at this point. We should make sure that we're not charging a lot more for what would be a nearly identical product. And if we are, we better be able to explain quickly and succinctly why we're charging more. So make sure in your marketing plan that you highlight, here's who we're up against, here's some of what makes us different, and once we've got all of that information, we're ready to finally get to putting together the promotional strategy. All right, we've made it past all the hard work, the thinking. Now it's a chance to get creative. Promotional strategy. When you're looking at creating your promotional strategy, the most important thing you can do is figure out how to get your message right. It does not matter what your vehicle is. I don't care whether you're buying an ad in the Super Bowl or just painting it on the side of a building. If your message is wrong, your advertising doesn't work. One of the consultants we dealt with in the radio industry came in for a couple of seminars, and he told us this story about a local greenhouse where they were going through, they were making their first ever radio ad, and they were doing the, family owned for X number of years, right down the street, your friendly neighbor. And he stopped him and he said, hey, that's great, but nobody's going to come here and buy when your plants are actually a little more expensive than Home Depot just down the road, and we got to give them something to act on. And so as he got to talking, trying to pull information out of the business owner, first off, he learned actually the prices are quite comparable. They're able to get plants in just the same way Home Depot does. So that, there, piece number one, pricing, just as good as the big box guys. Now, if those things are the same, what do you do better? Was a question he asked, and the owner thought about it and said, actually, one of the biggest things that we do differently is we only bring in plants around here that are meant to live in this climate. So when you go to the big box retailers, they buy things in bulk, and they aren't, they're not built to stand up to the cold Michigan winters. The plants that we bring in and we sell, they actually survive. We know what's right for this climate. And they said, boom, there, that's your commercial. And so when we're looking at messaging, that's what we have to really get to. Why us? Why should you buy from us? What are we going to give you to the consumer, in order to differentiate us? So once we got the message right, we know who we're talking to. We know that we're talking to, young females, old males, moms, dads, whoever it is. We get that message right. Now we get to pick where we're going to promote it. So we're going to look at, should we go to broadcast, TV, radio? Is that a good spot for us? Might we want to do outdoor advertising? Should we, wrap our vehicle to get our name out there? Is that what we're trying to accomplish? Digital advertising is good. Let's not forget print. Obviously, you can still, do direct mail pieces, get your brochures made, look at the newspapers. If that's where your demo is, make sure you're there. And the one that's certainly coming along quickly right now is mobile. Do you have a mobile strategy? Are you the type of product that people might engage with through text messaging, through social media? Make sure that if that's an important piece for your demo, that you're there. So obviously, you have to pick which of those is going to work based on effectiveness, but also budget. Social media is a lot less expensive than buying a TV ad, but there's a lot more work that goes into it, and your reach is certainly going to be less. So you got to balance those things. You have to know what you're willing to spend, and you have to know that it can make money back for you. So that's the biggest piece there for the promotional strategy. And once we've got that acted on, we've only got one step left. The last piece in the marketing plan, measure your results. We have to answer the most important question: did it work? Did we sell more? Did we get more email addresses for our database? Did we get more Facebook followers, if that's what our goal was? Remember, it's our job to reach a benchmark. We have to know what we put in place originally and find a way, did we meet it? And if we're doing our job, we're going to pay attention to this stuff as we go. So we're going to see, were sales going up? Did we see some reaction to the ad that we put in the newspaper? Did people come in for that sale on the weekend? If they didn't, we've got to make adjustments. Your marketing plan isn't meant to be a static document. It's got to work for you. It's got to evolve as you do, as your business changes, as the business climate changes. We have to measure our results besides from did we sell more, but What did our competitors do? If we ran a sale, did our competitors respond? Did they drop their prices? Did they buy more advertising? Are we seeing them more? So those are all things that we have to take into effect, and we have to watch them as we go and be ready to make adjustments on our own. All right, that wraps up our overview on fundamentals of a marketing plan. So thank you for sticking it out to the end here. When you get to next class, we are going to work on application. We're going to take the pieces of this that we've discussed, that you've now got some information about ahead of time, and we are actually going to have discussions. We're going to talk about ideas for how to apply them. So we'll work on making messages for some of the companies we've been looking at this semester. We are going to pick some promotional vehicles, whether, talk about how could we make a TV ad or a radio ad for this, those types of things. So be ready to discuss that. Think about those things ahead of time, and I'm looking forward to having this discussion with you guys soon. Thanks.